Good day, my fellow Diablo 3 fiends. We have been playing the public test realm lately, leading up to Season 22. I am going to be playing a wizard class this coming season, most likely. So I've been doing a lot of tests on the wizard class. I will be testing out the Necro and Crusader in the near future. But right now, I've been testing out the Necro. This is the Typhon's Veil Frost Hydra build. By the way, you're always welcome to join me on Twitch TV. We're playing there live most days now, 5 or 6 days a week. But when Season 22 begins, we'll be streaming live every day, that's for sure. This build is pretty damn powerful, very, very awesome, and lots of fun to play. So we're going to go through the items required and what's in Canonized Cube and skills and all that sort of stuff. Then we'll do a GR and I'll show you an example. So if you're thinking of playing a wizard next season, at least I might help make up your mind. So let's have a look at the skills here. We're using Spectral Blade with Barrier Blades, Teleport with Wormhole, Hydra, Frost Hydra, Blizzard with Apocalypse. Now, important thing to note, this is what I call a cold and fire build. But don't be fooled, the primary damage comes from Hydra and cold damage. We're using Blizzard with Apocalypse just because the radius is the biggest with Apocalypse, and also when we hit enemies, the more enemies we hit, we trigger the damage for our Hydras here. So Apocalypse Blizzard is all about just triggering damage for Hydra. Don't worry that it's fire and you're thinking maybe I should use Frost. Sorry, cold damage as far as Diablo 3 goes. It's fire only because of the larger 30-yard radius that we get. So the damage buff doesn't stack if we hit enemies a second time. So you just want to target different enemies as we're taking them down. But fear not, Hydra, don't get confused. Hydra and cold damage is the primary damage output for this build. We're using Storm Armor with Shocking Aspect, Magic Weapon with Deflection. The passives that I got are Galvanizing Ward, Arcane Dynamo, Audacity, Unstable Anomaly. But you can swap this out for like possibly Illusionist or something like that if you're not pushing high GR. If you're pushing high GR, you want to have Unstable Anomaly. If you're playing hardcore, you definitely want to have UA because that will save your life, and it'll save your life every 60 seconds if you take fatal damage. So you can swap that up for Illusionist, which is more handy moving through rifts if they're a comfortable level. But if you're pushing GR and you're going for a personal best, then leave Unstable Anomaly in there. Looking at the gear required now, this can be chopped and changed depending on what you're using in Canonized Cube and depending on how good the roll is. But obviously Ancients and Primal Ancients are preferred for this. The items we're using, the Magistrate, Squirt's Necklace, because we do get shields both from the passive and also the magic weapon that we're using. So we do get this awesome 100% damage increase and damage decrease when we have our shields active because we're not taking damage. So we're using 5 pieces of the Typhon's Veil set. We've got the shoulders, the chest, the gloves, the pants, and the boots. We're using the Shame of Dalcia belt here. The rings we're using, Halo of Karini, very, very important here, and Unity. So obviously we'll have Unity on our follower here to make sure that we benefit from the damage being split with our follower. We're using Fragment of Destiny here and also Winter Flurry. But like I said, feel free to mix and match what's in Canonized Cube. It just depends how good your roll is. And experiment anyway and come up with different variations for yourself. So this coming season, we're going to have an additional Canonized Cube slot. So as you can see here, instead of 3, I've got 4. Pretty overpowered, I know. Again, depending on what you're doing will depend on what you're using in your 4th slot here. But we definitely want Serpent Sparker either in Canonized Cube or equipped here. Depending on, you might get a Primal Ancient Serpent Sparker, then you can put that in here and put Fragment of Destiny in here. Totally up to you. We're using Tasker of Theo. We're using Ring of Royal Grandeur. Again, you might get a Primal Tasker in Theo. You might want to whack that in, put Magistrate in there. Do you know what I mean? You can chop and change and experiment however you like. Ring of Royal Grandeur is a must. You can either equip it or have it in here. I prefer having it in here. But that basically gives us the 6-piece bonus of the set here, while we can have the Magistrate equipped as well. So Magistrate obviously is super important for a Hydra build because our Hydras now periodically will cast Frost Nova and they deal 277% increased damage. That can go up to 300, I believe, if you get the right perfect roll or if you whack it in Canonized Cube there. Now the 4th one will depend on what you're doing. I'm going to be doing a GR 100 just to serve it as an example. You can definitely go push GR 120s up to 125-ish with this build. 130 might be a bit difficult, but you can definitely go up to 125, certainly 120. If you're pushing GR, I would probably recommend using Convention of Elements. That way, when the cold damage ticks over, you get that 200% increased damage, and you can take down your elites, your Rift Guardians, or whatever enemies you're trying to kill a lot quicker during that phase time. Or, because we're doing a GR 100 today, just to serve as an example, if you're farming GR, if you're farming Nephilim Rifts, whatever the case may be, Nemesis Braces come in handy, because when we do activate a Shrine or a Pylon, we get that additional elite to take down. So we're definitely going places with that. Paragon points. You want to make sure that your movement speed is up at 25% capped. That does also take into account any items you have equipped, so make sure that you don't overdo it or overcook it. Make sure it's at 25% maximum. So for instance, if you had a pair of boots that 12% movement speed, then you'd go 13% in the Paragon points here, because it's a cap based on your points, your Paragon points, and also the items you have equipped. Everything else whack into intelligence. With offense, you'd want to go critical hit chance and damage, split that evenly, and then put the rest into attack speed, and then followed by cooldown reduction. Obviously, once you're like 800 Paragon points plus, you're going to max out with everything, so just whack them in everywhere. In defense, if you're not maxed out, you want to prioritize resist all, armor, life regen. With utility, you want to go area damage, life per hit, resource cost reduction, and gold pickup radius. Now, going quickly back to the gems we're using. With the headpiece, I've got the Amethyst gem here for a 23% increase in life. We're not going to really need much cooldown reduction for this type of build, because there's no cooldown for Hydras. We can cast them away like that. Pretty easy stuff. The Blizzard also doesn't have a cooldown. You can spam the hell out of it. You just have to watch your arcane power. But look, with your Spectral Blade, cast that a few times and you get it back. So there's nothing really to worry about cooldown wise. Once you activate your shield and magic weapon, they stay active for a long time. Just keep an eye on them, make sure that they're active. But other than that, there's no cooldowns to worry about, so no point putting in a diamond gem in there. Everything else, we're using the topaz gems for intelligence here. The legendary gems, very important. We're using Enforcer, Bane of the Trapped, and Bane of the Stricken. I have seen some people use Bane of the Powerful, but if you're pushing high GR, you definitely want to level up a Bane of the Stricken. Maybe if you're farming Paragon points, you definitely want to use Bane of the Powerful temporarily, but end game, when you're pushing GR, I would highly recommend using Bane of the Stricken. It's going to be super handy, especially for those nasty Rift Guardians. I think that pretty much covers off everything that you will need to know. I will have a written version or a link in the description down below. Just give me about 24 hours after this video pops to get that link going. I have a very busy day ahead of me, so it's going to be tough for me to get this video out and then also work on that link, because I have to go to D3 Planet myself and set it all up the way that I have it set out here for everybody. So if it's not there now, I do apologize. Check back in about 24 hours. The link will definitely be added. Other than that, I think we've covered off everything, and we're ready to give everybody an example. So to serve as an example, instead of doing a very lengthy GR 120 or 15 or something high up there, we're going to just do a 100, just so everyone gets an idea of what the gameplay mechanics are like. So let's do that together. Any questions you might have about this build, just hit me up in the comments below, and I promise that it'll help you. Alternatively, you can come visit me live on Twitch. That's where I play Diablo 3 live for everybody. So you can come there, hit me up there, and that way I can talk to you live directly, and you can watch me play this kind of build and this class live on the PTR. Alright people, let's go. We're going to do a GR 100. This is just an example. Nice quick run. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe if you haven't already, and also join me live on Twitch. Follow me there. What do you got to lose? A lot of fun. That's what, because that's what we have every day. A lot of fun. Let's go. So as soon as we enter, first thing you want to do, activate your shield and your magic weapon and drop those 2 Hydras on the floor ASAP, because they do add to your damage reduction. You will notice if you just have your magic weapon and your shield up, you'll take a hell of a lot more damage if you've got no Hydras on the floor. So first thing when you enter, drop the 2 Hydras, which equal 10, because there's 5 Hydras on both casts, and that way that gives you the damage reduction that you want. Also be very careful when you enter the next floor, because you're pretty much entering a floor with no Hydras active. So as soon as you enter another floor, do the same sort of thing. Just cast your 2 Hydras on the floor straight away. That way you get the damage reduction, and also they will attack anything that might be coming at you. So first thing, always drop them. And you want to try and stay in range to use your Spectral Blade on enemies. That way we get that 10 buff there, as you can see, the Spectral Blade buff. That increases damage as well. And also every time we're using Spectral Blade, even if we're not hitting enemies, we get that stack of 5. That basically will give us a bit of an increase in damage to the next non-signature spell that we cast, which will be our Hydra or the Blizzard. So keep it on the stacks below there. They're very easy to get up. The 10 stacks that you see there, the knife, the knife, you can get that up by hitting enemies. The other one that goes up to 5, which gives your next spell cast amplified damage. That you don't have to hit enemies. You can just stay out of range, keep casting Spectral Blade, you can get up to 5 stacks. Ooh, got stuck back in there. So basically once you get your 2 Hydras on the ground in the area where you want to kill your enemies, just cast Blizzard and also hold down your Spectral Blade at the same time. So you're replenishing that arcane power, and that way any new enemies that come onto screen into line of sight, they can get hit with your Blizzard, which again increases the damage we do with our Hydras. And that's pretty much it. Super fun build to play. And it works very well, it's very efficient. I do have a speed farming version, which I'll be talking about tomorrow, hopefully. If people want to see it, that is. And that's a super fast build, super fun to use. Always check this area here for a pylon. As you can see there, a lot of people don't check this little corner. So make sure you always check that corner. Oh, we want to get out of those explosions. Check that little corner there on this particular map. There's like 8 out of 10 times there's a hidden pylon there. Oh, another good map. So we've gotten pretty lucky here with these maps, with this GR. It's going to be a quick one, which is what we want as an example. But yeah, up in that map, there's certain areas, and I always talk about them live on Twitch on my stream. There are certain little areas that are very easy to bypass or miss if you don't know about them. It just takes like a split second to just quickly uncover a certain area of a map. And a lot of times, there is a pylon there. So that was one of the secret little areas. We could have kept going on down, but we just veered off a little bit, uncovered it, and there's a pylon there. I do like to tell people about those secret little pylon areas whenever I remember, as much as possible. I'm already like, my brain is trained to go to these areas because I know them quite well. But if you're a new player, you may not know that pylons are hidden as well. They do hide them, so you can easily miss them. Blizzard's cool like that. So here we go, one more elite pack, we'll actually do it here. So as you're moving along, ooh, pylon, so this will be an elite because we've got our Nemesis braces equipped. I like to cast the Hydra right on top of my elites, and then just use your Spectral Blade and Blizzard. So Rift Guardian's coming now. Again, he's right in between or on top of our Hydras. All we have to do is cast Blizzard and just Spectral Blade until he's dead, just like that. So there you go. That is your Typhon's Veil Frost Hydra, a Song of Ice and Fire build. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up down below. Check back soon in the description. There will be a link to a D3 planner with this build. And also keep in mind that 4th Canized Cube slot is actually not active on the normal servers as of yet. This is PTR. This is going to be active for Season 22, which is the next season coming up. So if you're thinking, where's my 4th slot? You don't get it. It's just a theme that you're going to get next season. And we're just lucky that we get to test it out here. I love you all. Stay safe out there. Until next time, stay creepy.